Ladies and gents, welcome along. Here we go. Bloody hell, these are coming thick and fast, aren't they? How are we all doing? Hope all is well. Yeah. Should be good. Should be good. Looking forward to this one. Should be, should be very good indeed. Hi, Glenn. Owen, evening, Catherine. Tom, how you doing? Stanley, how are you, mate? Change that profile picture, please. It's vermin. Evening, Leo. Ollie, how you doing? Go and Davey. Good evening. Glimpse, how you doing? Shocks, hello. Mark, how you doing? Bad news, one of the not. Let's hope it's not the shit one who cost us a point. Anyway. Scenes in Upper West tomorrow. That photo, Ruben, that's almost a year ago, mate. That will be something like the 4th of September last year when we played. Yeah, 4th of September last year when we played Sheffield United. That photo was a year old. Bloody hell. 3-1 tomorrow night. Twine first goal. Shocks is surprised to see Ruben. My God. Hopefully get my Match One Connolly shirt signed tomorrow. Hopefully. Apologies about that. I'm sadly not going to Leicester. I can't make that one, which is a shame. But that's life sometimes. That's life. But I might be at Stoke. I don't know about that one. I might be. Equally, might not. Depends, doesn't it? I'm watching the game in the VIP section where I don't think you'll be sat with the owner, but you'll be in a box in hospitality. Very nice. Hi, Joe. Tomorrow, I think Connolly 1, Twine 1, Delap 2, score 4-2. Connolly, top scorer this season, hoping those players from Villa. Those Villa lads will come in. This isn't going off any information, by the way. I just have a gut feeling that it's already done. I haven't heard anything or that sort of thing. I've just got a feeling. And it's a very good feeling. It's a very, very, very good feeling. On that note, let's move on to the transfer news then, where Keenan Davis and Jaden Philogene are set to come in from Villa for a combined £6 million. 5 on Philogene, 1 on Keenan Davis. There is an expectation in the deal with Aston Villa. In the deal with Aston Villa for Philogene, there will be on Villa's side a buyback clause, which it's a way of doing business now. Fair. We'll still make a profit on the guy from when we sign him for £5 million. Hopefully that buyback is at least 20 million. That makes us a tidy profit on him. And yeah, I think he's going to go on to be one hell of a player. If we're looking at Keenan Davis, I think Watford were wrong about Tufan, and Watford is a very unique environment that people thrive in, and not many people do. You look at what's happened to Ozan. He's come here under Liam, really bought into the system, and look at where we are. Look at how good he is. Watford's a weird environment. You've got new managers every 10 minutes. So for players to thrive in that environment is incredibly difficult. And you know what? Players like Dan Backman here, they signed ages ago and they're still there. players like Troy Deeney, they were a constant. He was a constant. But for players coming in, especially in Tufan's case, from a foreign country where you're not totally fluent in the English language, it can be tough. And sometimes you need a fan base to embrace you and a manager who can put an arm around you to thrive. And Tufan has done that. Davis, glowing reviews from him at Forest and from Villa fans. But Watford was, again, a unique environment where he didn't do as well as you might expect. But at Forest, when he was fit, he was brilliant. And their reviews of him are brilliant. But equally, they said Figueiredo was going to be great. So the real test and the real judgment, I'll get excited about signing no matter what, right? But for me to actually be the judge of them, I need to see them in the black and amber. And once I've seen them in the black and amber, I can then make a judgment on how they actually are as a player. I can have high expectations, and my expectations for someone like Figueiredo were high because of the reviews Forest fans had given us. But very quickly, when he struggled in these colours with this Hull City logo on his chest, I came to the opinion quite quickly he's not for us. And Liam came in and was of that same opinion, hence why he's been moved on. So, like I say, I'll be excited about signing no matter what, but my expectations will differ regarding who each player is, of course. And then the final judgment for me will be when they're wearing a Hull City shirt, when they're wearing a Hull City kit. With Davis coming in, I get the feeling that Oscar Estupinian might be on his way out. I love Oscar, but my feeling is that he's not the complete player that Liam wants. He's a poacher, and sometimes you need those players. But in terms of moulding this squad to fit how Liam plays, I don't think Oscar is exactly the type of player Liam wants. And there's interest from him. There's interest for him from Spain. I think it's Granada and Valladolid who are interested in him. And would it surprise me if he were to leave? No, definitely not, especially if Keenan Davis comes in. And if the price is right, because the reports from Spain say it's going to be a loan. A loan is fine, but there has to be an obligation for me. There has to be an obligation to buy in there. Because the loan with just an option doesn't really help us out. But the obligation is sort of guaranteed money, which could help us in this window if Oscar were to move on. Whereas the option doesn't fit the same way, because he could go out on loan, be it to Spain or wherever, flop, and then he comes back and we're stuck with him for another year. In what is the final year of his contract, can I add? And after an unimpressive loan, his stock will be lower. Oscar's stock, he scored, 13, 14 goals last season in a team that gave him very little service at times, and he missed a lot. I think he missed the last 10 games of the season through injury, something like that. That's a good record. And sometimes you do need those players. But for me, I just get the feeling that Liam doesn't. Love Oscar, but it says a lot about whether he fits into Rosie's system when he scored more goals in less games under Shotter. Liam Hobbs better, but no point keeping him if he's going to warm the bench. Selling a 13-goal striker that was so crucial in loads of the points we gained last season had a big influence on the side is silly. I'd rather have Oscar over Keenan Davis. Differing opinions there. For me, I'm happy to have either because Davis will fit the system more, yes, but Oscar is just a natural born goal scorer, and sometimes you need those players. Sometimes you need those players who have that awareness in the penalty area of where they need to be at exactly the right time. So we'll see how that develops moving forward. Team news is positive. Vinagre and Aliar are both in contention for a return. Cynic and Doherty remain absent. Doc will be back after the international break. I think Cynic, he's had a setback on that shoulder problem, so we're not fully sure the timescale on his return. And if I'm honest, I think Cynic will be gone. I think Dodo Cynic will be gone by the time we play Leicester. That's my opinion. Moving on. Ref watch. Referee is James Linnington. The two liners, Sean Hudson and Robert Hyde. One of these, as Ashley pointed out earlier, were the linesman, one of the linesmen at Norwich, fourth official, Anthony Backhouse. Moving on to stats. Looking at our last game against Blackburn. Possession-wise, very nice. Shots, nice. When we got shots off from inside the area, the two that were Connolly's efforts, they went on target. So we'll take that. Passing, lovely. Excuse me. The passes were lovely. Yeah. Can't really go wrong. And I just want to point out, right, Liam Delap, as a striker, yes, you're expected to score goals. But what Delap did against Blackburn, it's the sort of stuff that as a striker you very rarely get credit for. And he was incredible in terms of his pressing, his hold-up play. I thought he was ace. I thought he was absolutely ace. And Scotty Twine as well, he fitted into the system seamlessly because it's so similar to how we played, to how Burnley play. He fit right in. He fit right in. Sam Gallagher, Leo. Sam Gallagher. Bristol City have had only 3 shots all season. Nice. Haven't won 3 games in a row since January last year. Ooh, tough one, that. Philogene not even available for this game, for God's sake. Fully expected to see him, Baz. Look, things just take time. Things just take time. I think for him to be involved, it had to be signed, sealed, announced at 12. Before 12 midday. And that just wasn't really going to happen. So a deal is close, and I get the gut feeling it's done. But these things take time. Just let it happen. Just let them happen. Do I think Aliar will leave? No, I don't. Because I think we're going to struggle to get that next winger through the door. So I think our main target will be Raksaki, and I think we might push that right to the end because we've got the depth in that position, and we might as well go for our top target. But we might lose out on the depth by gunning for that top target until the deadline. And to be honest, I don't even necessarily think we need another winger. Because if you think on the left side, who can play there? Cynic, Harry Vaughan, Scott Twine. That's fine for me. On the right, Alia, Jason Lakilo, Philogene, and Longman. I think those 7 are fine. I think Longman will go out on loan. So that's 6. Plus, Adama's played there at the start of this season. Who else was wide at some point last season? Cyrus Christie played as a winger at some stages last season. So we've got the depth in that position to not move Aliar on. But equally, if Cynic moves on, which I think might happen, there might be a bit more sort of urgency to get another player in the door. Wouldn't it be fair if Cynic don't get a look in given how hard he's worked? Yeah, I suppose so. To play devil's advocate to my own point, Rosinha has spoken quite glowingly about Cynic and how hard he's worked to get fit again. So I suppose time will tell. Cynic should be given a chance because, not going to lie, I believe it could be a great asset to us. And I do agree. I don't think Liam even has something against Dodo. I think when Liam first arrived, maybe his application might not have been there because he was sort of a bit homesick and stuff like that. But hopefully, after going back to Antalya for a little bit, he feels refreshed and Liam has said, he said, I've just said it there, he's been quite happy with his application. So, yeah. The lap's ability to turn in the middle of the pack, beat his man going on a darting run's great to watch. It is. Best City player of all time. Come back to me. 2 weeks ago, I had no hope for the season. Fast forward 2 weeks, Tigers have stolen my heart again with the football we're playing, the signings we've got. Andy Smith, right, okay. Okay, David De Gea is, okay. Shared shirts is not Danny Coles, no. Please no, Owen. Then Baz goes on tweets crap to people that ask the question when filler will be announced. Don't see why he does it. Especially so Baz will not know exactly when the club have scheduled the tweet to announce Jadon Philogene. Let's get that clear. He will go off what he's been told by a source in a trusted position at the football club. Let's just get that clear. Baz will not know exact timings. All he will know is if he's told an announcement is imminent and that he can share that information, that he will share that information. Simple. That's that. Baz gets far too much stick. He's got a very, very, very difficult job. Reach are so demanding with what they want. They want a big story almost every day of the week. And Baz is very, very hard pressed to get that. And he will have to get possibly 3 or 4 stories and make something of them over the course of a couple of days. Deadline day will be busy. That will be as stuff gets fed and various plates are spinning at once. If he gets told something, he'll be able to talk about it. But until then, Baz, you've got to remember, has the club's best interests at heart. He's known about Jadon Philogene for as long as this window's gone on. But he's kept a lid on it because it's going to benefit the football club if he keeps that information quiet. Unprofessional too from Baz tweeting rubbish to people asking questions and expects these people he's disrespectful to be reading his articles. I don't think Baz is necessarily disrespectful with what he tweets either. He'll have little digs and stuff like that. Like in January, there was an account who tweeted something about go to bed or whatever, school in the morning. That's funny. And then with the football lings, whatever it was, stuff yesterday saying that the Philogene deal was off. Baz said, which was quite funny, the other day after that the school holidays are nearly over. That's funny. That's funny. And ultimately, you can slag him off all you want, but he and Mike White are the two closest sources in terms of to the club and locally, the combination of the two, that we will get information from. Full stop. Full stop. We'll leave that there. Do you reckon we'll wait till we get Davis sorted till we announce Jaden and Davis announced as a pair? Perhaps we might do one, then the other a couple of hours later, maybe. Something like that. So maybe. We'll just have to leave that up to the club, I suppose. How many more coming in? Says Catherine. Ajun said there could be up to 5 coming in. Philogene, Davis, a defensive midfielder who is no longer going to be Max Bird because he's out for 2 to 3 months with an injury. So Philogene, Davis, a defensive midfielder, a goalkeeper. We are working hard on a goalkeeper, by the way, but things just take time. And potentially another winger as well. I think the priority list should be Philogene, Davis, because that's seemingly so close, goalkeeper, DM, winger. And then in terms of outgoings, Ollie mentions when Coyle, Ingram, Longman. Coyle, Ingram are going nowhere, mate. Longman, he's in talk. There's interest in Ryan Longman from League One clubs. And there is also interest in Ryan Woods as well. Stuff's bubbling away, but nothing imminent as of yet. Ollie, stop it with Coyle. No, never. Coyle is class. There's been a lot of stalling there. Let's move on. Bristol City, their team. 2 players that are on there. They signed Taylor Gardner-Hickman on loan yesterday. And there's another lad as well whose name has slipped my mind, but where's number 29? Anyway. Max O'Leary's their number 1. Over the summer, they brought in Hayden Roberts. And they brought in Rob Dickey, Ross McCrory as well. But I believe Ross McCrory has a bit of an injury at the moment. The big one in the midfield, they've lost Alex Scott. Jason Knight's a good player, bringing him from Derby, a player Liam Rosenior knows well. Up top, Mehmeti's a solid player. Harry Cordick scored goals at this level before. Andreas Weiman's a quality player. So is Sam Bell. So they've got a good team. But if we look at the form guide at the moment, we'll come to your comments again in just a second. If we look at the form guide for Bristol City, starting there, they got a result against Millwall, but the defeat to Birmingham with the red card and Rob Dickey suspended for this one, and the draw against Preston as well. Perhaps not the most promising of results. And their shot count, 5 against Preston, because this was a talking point seemingly. 5 against Preston, 14. Yeah, that shots comment was miles off. They didn't have a shot on target in their last game though, so that bodes well. But dominated possession. Sound familiar, right? As for us, after these 2, we've kicked on a little bit now nicely there with 2 wins on the trot. And the less said about that one especially, the better. All right, let's have a little gander at the league table then, where we are up into the top half, which is good. 7th, nice. If we look down at Bristol City, they're down in 14th, coming off the back of that defeat. So it's going to be a tough game. There are no easy games at this level, and the table isn't representative at this stage. Let's be honest. Although Leicester being up there, Southampton being up there, Norwich being up there, I don't think that'll change come season's end. Ipswich as well. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with them because they've started the season very well, but do I think they'll sustain it? No, I don't. Stoke as well. They had a very good window, sitting just below us on goals scored. So they're obviously, the transfer window is still open. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff still to be going. It's still that needs to be completed, of course. And we're the only Yorkshire team in the top half, so I don't see that being the case for much longer. Do you see us playing two up top at some point? We're Conley doing so off the bench, Delac playing well, perhaps, but also it didn't really work in pre-season. So having Tufan as a 10/shadow striker is working better. If it weren't for Tufan's hat-trick, mate, he'd have been man of the match against Sheffield Wednesday. So stick that in your pipe and smoke it. I'd like a goalkeeper, but I feel Ingram's disrespected by the club of Baxter and Darlow over the last few years. I disagree. I don't think it's a problem wanting two goalkeepers who are both good to push each other. I don't think that's a problem at all. What else am I missing down here? Nothing of note. Around the grounds then on Championship Match Day 4, where the Friday game, 7:30 kickoff, of course. On Saturday, all the rest of the games are on Saturday, apart from Watford v Blackburn. I've misread that 7 for a 6 somehow. And all of them are 3 o'clock kickoffs, starting with Cardiff City versus Sheffield Wednesday, West Brom versus Middlesbrough, Southampton versus QPR, Rotherham versus Leicester, Preston versus Swansea, Millwall versus Stoke, Ipswich versus Leeds. Come on, Ipswich. Huddersfield Town versus Norwich, Coventry versus Sunderland, and Birmingham versus Plymouth on Saturday. Then on Sunday, Watford versus Blackburn, kicking off at 12 at Vicarage Road. What comes next, I wonder? What comes next? Oh, yeah. Lovely. Smashing. What a day. I'm 2 years old. Dino with a goal. Bosh. Or as Dino would say, you need to wind your neck in because Sheffield Wednesday have... Anyway. City's team that day, Myhill in goal. Back four was Sam Ricketts, Wayne Brown, Michael Turner and Andy Dawson. Central midfield 2 of Ian Ashby and Brian Hughes, with Richard Garcia and Nick Barmby, the wide men. Fraser Campbell and Dean Windass up top together. The bench was Matt Duke, Nathan Doyle, Dean Marney, Caleb Folan and Craig Fagan, with Phil Brown in charge. For Bristol City, future Tigers at this stage, Dele Adebola and Adriano Basso were in their team that day. Shared shirts is neither of those. Quite simply destined to be, indeed. Quite simply destined to be. Last time out. Yeah, that was a long drive home. Somehow the 5-0 drive home was better than the losing 1-0 drive home. Anyway, we just didn't show up. Lost 1-0, Nakirell's penalty, cool. Team that day was Carl Darlow in goal on debut. Back four, Cyrus Christie, Alfie Jones, Sean McLaughlin and Jacob Greaves. Midfield 3 of Xavier Simons, Greg Doherty and Ozan Tufan. With Malcolm on the right, it was. Slater was playing on the left because that was going on for a time. And Oscar up top. The bench, Timothy Lotatala, Louis Coyle, Callum Elder, Tobias Figueiredo, Ryan Longman, Adama Traore and Benjamin Tete on what was his return from injury, of course. And then the record against these lot, it's a mixed bag. It's firmly a mixed bag. Got the win there, but before that, yeah, 3 defeats and a draw. Should have won that one, though. Should have won that one. Anyway, let's have a look. Shared shirts. Have you got any guesses? Have you got any guesses for shared shirts? Leo, I expected that comment from you as soon as I saw his name to read out. Any guesses for shared shirts? While you're doing that, I'll just reply to this text. Chris Martin, good call. Simons has been awful this year. He's come off the bench once. Oh, God. Anyway, I don't think there are many guesses coming in, but the Chris Martin guess was wrong. It is, in fact, Marcus Henriksen, former skipper at Hull City. He signed for us in 2016 under Mike Phelan on deadline day, initially on loan from AZ Alkmaar. That move became permanent in January, and he was with us then until his contract ran out during lockdown of the 2019-20 season. 92 appearances in black and amber for the Norwegian, scored 5 goals, and for the last 6 months of his Hull City contract, he was out on loan at Bristol City. 4 appearances for them because then lockdown happened, and because he didn't renew his contract here, he couldn't then extend that loan spell at Ashton Gate. So Marcus only managed to play it the 4 times, having signed for them on loan on deadline day in January, the same day that Bowen and Grzycki both left. And then that season, after about 4 or 5 games, was quite quickly curtailed because of COVID. And like I say, because he couldn't renew his contract here, he had to go. He couldn't stay with Bristol City until the end of the season. On to my predicted 11 and team and what have you now then. 4-3-3/4-2, whatever it's going to be. In goal, Matt Ingram. Louis Coyle at right back, the skipper. 2 centre-halves, Jones and McLaughlin. At left back, Jacob Greaves. Holding midfield will be Seri. Central midfield, Tufan and Slater. On the right, Traore. On the left, Scott Twine. And then up top, Liam Delap. The bench, Timothy Lotatala, Ruben Vinagre, Harry Vaughan, Xavier Simons, Oscar Estupinian, Jason Lakilo, Andy Smith, Cyrus Christie, and Aaron Connolly as well. The reason I haven't put Connolly in is because Rosina, as I've gone out of focus, brilliant, has quite obviously stated that Connolly still can't do it from the off yet because of fitness and stuff like that. Twine and probably Philogene will come straight in because they've had pretty much a full pre-season at Villa and at Burnley, respectively. They can come straight in and play. But, well, because they've had consistent minutes over pre-season. But I think people like Aaron, who haven't, Keenan Davis, who hasn't, they will have to be built up. And Aaron is slowly getting there, but he can still only do it for half an hour as they manage his fitness to build him up. Makes sense? Good. Predicted score. Get your predicted scores in the chat, ladies and gents. I think we've got some from further up in the stream as well, because people do typically put them in right at the start. So I'll scroll back up on chat. Owen says Seri will score 2-1 again. Glimp said 1-0 to us with 2 fans scoring. Owen said 3-1 tomorrow night. Twine first goal. Stanley said 4-2 earlier. I think that was it. Now we'll go back down to the bottom. Jeff says 1-1. Mark 3-0. Tommy 3-1. Ashley 2-1. Will 3-1. Tommy 3-1. I've clicked on that one twice. 2-1. Connolly and 2 fans scoring for Ollie. 1-0 Glimpse. 2-2 Delap, Slater and Nakiwell scoring twice. 4-0 Connolly all 4. 6-0. 3-1. 2-1. I'm going to go 2-1. I think goals will come from Liam Delap and Scott Twine. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. I'll see you all very, very late tomorrow evening for a Matchday vlog. Hopefully this one that I put out in the dead of night doesn't get me copyright striked again. We're praying. But yeah, take care everyone. See you very soon. And yeah, up the Tigers!